Good afternoon. Thank you, everybody, for coming to our House Bill 1100 rally. I want to begin. I cannot thank enough the Democrat, Republican, and independent representatives and senators that have overwhelmingly passed House Bill 1100. The Northeast Pennsylvania Building Trades is happy to have partnered with all involved months ago to make sure this bill went through the House and the Senate. I once again thank all involved for House Bill 1100's bipartisan success. Thank you. The passage of House Bill 1100 is only the first step to ensure large manufacturing facilities will be built in Northeast Pennsylvania. Manufacturing facilities of this magnitude provide building trades, construction jobs with family-sustaining wages, not to mention health care and retirement benefits. Both our members and our contracting partners will benefit from the facilities that will be built from the tax credits of House Bill 1100. The use of prevailing wage is historic, as it has never been written into a tax code bill. The application of these rates ensure workers are paid the prevailing minimum wage rate for each craft or classification as determined by the Pennsylvania Department of Labor. Apprenticeship. The use of prevailing wage will promote the utilization of many gold-level accredited apprenticeship programs that the 16 affiliated trade unions represent in Northeast Pennsylvania. The big difference in our training is most, if not all, of the trade programs are administered by a joint apprenticeship training committee. These committees are made up of both by the contractors who hire the apprentices, as well as the trade unions that represent them. We jointly administer these programs for mutual gains. On a national level, the building trades JATC programs spend $750 million annually, making us one of the largest private education systems in the country. We fund these programs through a cents per hour contribution from all the respected crafts they belong to and fall under at zero cost to the taxpayer. These programs provide access to careers for young men and women in Pennsylvania, enabling them to raise families, buy a home, and become a valuable tax-paying asset to their communities. We look forward to working with all local, county, state, and federal elected officials in bringing construction projects to Northeast Pennsylvania. We can do this while still being good stewards. Our environment, ensuring safety for our workers, as well as our natural resources, is and always will be priority number one. We will do this while serving our members, ensuring fairness, respect, and dignity to all of the working class, regardless of race, color, creed, party, or union affiliation. As you have heard me say many times before, the Northeast Pennsylvania building and construction trades are proud to invest in our future. We were here yesterday. We stand with you today, and there is no doubt we will be here tomorrow, building the most complex and difficult projects in Northeast Pennsylvania. It is not only the skilled handset of the members that set us apart, it is also the kindness of our members' hearts. I truly could not be any prouder of the members that I represent here today. Whenever the men and women of the building trades have been called upon for the betterment of our communities, we have answered the call. We have volunteered our time, our talents, and our resources. If it was building a backstop and dugouts for a youth baseball team, coaching a soccer or basketball team, running the Booster Club, or uniting for events such as Carve for Cancer, the Live Like Brent Foundation, or Dollars Against Diabetes, the men and women of Northeast Pennsylvania Building and Construction Trades Council have been there. And just like today, when called upon, you show up. And you are what makes Northeastern Pennsylvania what it is today. Thank you for all that you do. Natural gas is already produced in Pennsylvania, and it will continue to be. The ground has been fracked. The gas is abundant. We have pipelines in place that will promote and supply the manufacturing industry. The question ahead of us is simple. Should the gas be used to build downstream processing and manufacturing opportunities in Pennsylvania, or should it be piped into other states? The petrochemical industry is growing in the United States. If Pennsylvania does not create these job opportunities that stem from its very own natural resources, another state will. West Virginia and Ohio are already committed to bringing in the same facilities that House Bill 1100 would generate in Northeast Pennsylvania. To hear that Governor Wolf plans to veto House Bill 1100 is disheartening, to say the least. It is Governor Wolf himself that often points to the success of the Shell cracker plant in Beaver County that was lured to Pennsylvania by the very same tax credits in House Bill 1100. As a result of those tax credits, Shell has invested $6 billion into Beaver County, creating over 7,500 good-paying, family-sustaining construction jobs. After completion of construction of these petrochemical and cracker plants, they will leave behind high-paying manufacturing jobs, as well as residual employment that these facilities will promote during their maintenance and operation. Governor Wolf, should Northeast Pennsylvania be treated any less? As citizens, should we not have the same opportunities as our residents of Beaver County have been granted with the very same tax credits? Governor Wolf, would you like to see these jobs go to our surrounding states? Governor Wolf, do you want to protect, promote, and create family-sustaining employment for hardworking Pennsylvanians? Please, Governor Wolf, sign House Bill 1100. Say no to a veto. Say yes to jobs for our members and our residents of Northeast Pennsylvania. Thank you, everybody, for coming, and I want to introduce our next speaker, a good friend of mine, my partner in crime here in the Northeast, Tony Sywell, business manager, Eastern District.
Thank you, brother.
There you go, buddy.
Good afternoon. I want to thank everybody for coming out, just like Warren thanked. I want to give special thanks to Senator Edechek. We have state reps here from all over the state. We have State Rep Rader, State Rep Fritz, State Rep O'Neill from Washington County out here, a neighbor to the Beaver County cracker plant, firsthand knowing the benefits of having such a plant. Representative Toolhill, Representative Pashinsky, Representative Kaufer. We have Frank Mazza from Senator Toomey's office and Carl Sweeney from Representative Bobak's office. Thank you all for coming out. We appreciate your support. We appreciate your attendance here now. Thank you. Oh, we also have Representative Madden here from Monroe County. Thank her especially for making the trip. So here we are on the precipice of terrific bipartisan legislation, House Bill 1100, which was overwhelmingly passed in the House and the Senate, which is potentially going to be vetoed by our governor. This bill early on was supported by the governor. If we could secure some labor standards that made sense. Thanks to the Senate and specifically Senator Edechek, those standards were entered into the bill through amendments. So I thank you, Senator. A bill that so just so everybody's clear on the process, the bill was introduced by Republican House member Aaron Kaufer, co-sponsored by many of our introduced friends on the Republican aisle and some who aren't here. The bill was cleared through committee, passed on the floor by a majority of the House R's and D's, then goes to the Senate where amendments were introduced. The amendments were the key to bringing everybody on board. They included the prevailing wage language that Warren spoke of. Comes out of committee, goes to the floor, gets voted on in a Senate by an overwhelming majority. Goes back to the House and gets voted on by an even greater majority with the amendments attached. We're talking about significant majorities, veto-proof majorities. Others here have and will speak to the statistics as far as jobs, man hours, skilled tradesmen, the men and women of the building trades, but it's the politics of it all that concern me. We in the Laborers International Union North America and the building trades as a whole are not an arm of the Democratic Party. We're not an arm of the Republican Party. We are supporters of those who support us. And supporting us is really supporting all working families throughout Pennsylvania. For it is us, the unions, who push to advance labor standards. We are the voice of working men and women, and our voice needs to be heard and taken seriously when it comes to matters like this. Blue-collar workers and the unions that support them are in constant battle with the dangerous ideology of the far left and the far right of the political spectrum. We seem to play constant defense against attacks on the middle-class way of life. In this particular case, it is the radical left environmental groups trying to stand in the way of progress. The fact of the matter is we can do both, create good family-sustaining jobs and protect the environment in a conscious way. We have the DEP and the EPA to make sure of that. After all of our members care about the environment as much as anyone else. We're landowners, we hunt, we fish, we enjoy the outdoors as much as anybody else. So here now we have the rare opportunity to play offense and score big for working men and women, and it's being met with potential veto by the governor. I know the governor shares our values, but now is the time to show it. The choice is clear. Stand with the building trades now or potentially lose us. We implore you, Governor, to sign House Bill 1100 and put Pennsylvania to work. And now I'd like to introduce John Augustine. He's the CEO of the Marcellus Shale Coalition, a good friend of ours.
George, it's Penn's Northeast. I was with the Marcellus Shale, but now I got to figure out which one I want. Maybe I can do both, right? So, good afternoon, everybody. It's a privilege to stand with a bipartisan group of elected officials, business leaders, and union workers in support of House Bill 1100. Penn's Northeast works with our partners and members in 8 counties to attract quality jobs to northeastern PA. We are constantly competing for new jobs against neighboring states, as well as others throughout the country and across the globe. We are currently working with 3 companies that are looking to make a substantial impact in our region, utilizing natural gas. In order to be successful, we need to utilize every tool and resource available to bring these jobs to our backyard. We are fortunate to live in a state that is energy rich and blessed by what God put under our feet. The Marcellus Shale is the 2nd largest gas reserve in the world. We must do all we can to take advantage of this natural resource in a safe and responsible manner. Unemployment rates in PA, northeastern PA, are traditionally higher than the rest of the state and national average. Even with record job growth, we continually lag behind other regions, and that should stop now. We consistently tout all the benefits of the Shell cracker plant. It is one of the largest economic development projects in the history of PA and will foster economic growth in every corner of our state for decades to come. We continue to see the negative effects of a global economy happening around us daily. There is absolutely no need to rely on other countries for gas or oil or nuclear or coal or wind or solar. We are the world's largest producer. We should not rely on other countries to make the products we need. We should not face shortages of daily items or high-priced overseas products when they can be made right here in our backyard with the ladies and gentlemen behind us. It is time to stop relying on others. It is time to start relying on ourselves. We should be announcing multiple manufacturing projects like the Shell cracker plant in northeastern Pennsylvania. Why not more? Why not now? Thank you. I'd like to now introduce Mr. Dave Taylor, President of the Manufacturers Association.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you so much. It's a privilege to be here, to be part of this pro-jobs, pro-production consensus in Pennsylvania. I'm proud especially to stand here with my allies from LIUNA and the skilled trades. We've been fighting for Pennsylvania pipeline jobs, and we're now here at the next stage of Pennsylvania's energy revolution. The challenge with the enormous abundance of Pennsylvania natural gas is building out domestic demand and having new manufacturing in Pennsylvania in the Northeast to take advantage of the value chain from the methane, the natural gas itself. This is our moment. There are 2 major projects that have already been announced. One would be a methanol facility, which would replace diesel fuel. Another would be here in Luzerne County for fertilizers, which would replace imports that our Pennsylvania farmers have been importing that important resource from other parts of the country and especially from around the world. We want the investment and the growth and the jobs that can come from manufacturing using the value chain from methane, what would be made possible by the tax credit in House Bill 1100. And the numbers are staggering, as we saw in the West. That, you know, with hard hat jobs for working people, we're talking about billions in investment. We're talking about thousands of construction jobs. We're talking about hundreds of permanent jobs. And we're talking about the catalyst from a whole new sector of manufacturing with the jobs, wages, benefits, economic dynamism, growth, and prosperity that can come from northeastern Pennsylvania. So PMA, we did an economic analysis, and this is just, again, a first rough analysis of the two projects that we know about, as was mentioned by John, that there are more to come. But just the two projects that we know about, we extrapolate that the potential income just for the construction of these facilities would be $300 million. $300 million in wages. For our skilled workers, that's 2,200 plus construction jobs. With the value added, we're talking about a total economic output of almost $750 million. That's what's at stake. That's what's at stake right here today, based on the choice that Governor Wolf makes in Harrisburg, and we are here to urge him to make the right decision to allow House Bill 1100 to become law. This is a pivotal moment for Pennsylvania. You see a new consensus emerging that business and labor agree. We want the jobs. We want the industrial activity that will bring those jobs into reality. We want to make the most of the energy opportunity for the entire region here in northeastern PA. The fact is that business and labor, we need one another. That labor needs the investment, management needs the work done and to have it done right. That skilled labor and the large investment, these things are rare. But most of all, that the region needs the opportunity. Rebuilding our hometowns, having a brighter future for ourselves, for our families. That's what we want most of all. And the bottom line is that business and labor both recognize that the radical Greens are a threat to our economy and to our way of life. And we are going to press forward with that pro-jobs, pro-production consensus on Pennsylvania energy. And now it is my great honor to introduce the author of House Bill 1100 from the 120th District in Luzerne County, Representative Aaron Kaufer.
Thank you, Dave. House Bill 1100 is truly the transformative opportunity of a generation. Now, as a young 24-year-old first running for office in 2012, I put forward in a 12-point plan something about a targeted tax credit for natural gas manufacturing, using our affordable, accessible, abundant natural gas to compete with cheap labor overseas. This is the opportunity to manufacture here, not in China, but to bring back made in the USA, made in PA. The Shell cracker plant was tax policy put forward through legislation, and this bill mimics that same policy. That legislation brought forward in Beaver County a $6 billion private investment, 6,500 jobs daily there, The largest construction site in North America is in Beaver County, Pennsylvania. Sounds like something we should maybe replicate. Well, that's what House Bill 1100 does. We've built a broad coalition from the Chamber of Commerce to the manufacturers to the Earth Conservancy to the Chemical Institute. Oh yeah, and by the way, did I mention our building trades? How about these guys here? Now, not just anybody can get this tax credit. There are benchmarks, and serious, real benchmarks. $450 million of investment, a minimum of that much money, a minimum of 800 jobs that have to have prevailing wages, thanks to Senator Udicek's amendment. All of this is needed to be able to receive this tax credit. None of it is front-loaded. This is not a KOZ. You need to meet these benchmarks in order to get this type of credit. It's needed now more than ever in northeastern Pennsylvania. We've lost or are about to lose about 800 jobs with the governor's announcement of the closure of SEI Retreat in Whitehaven Center. With a single stroke of his pen, we can bring those 800 jobs back with just one of these announced projects that we've heard about. And there are 2 already public and several others that are out there. Now, we'd love to have the governor sign this bill. It's already passed with veto-proof majorities, 157 to 35 in the House, 39 to 11 in the Senate. And what do we need from the governor? We'd love him to sign it. But, Governor, at the very least, we can ask you to do nothing. Let this bill go into law. We don't necessarily need you to sign it, but we need this bill to go into law. These people standing behind me want to go to work. Let's put them to work. It's my distinct privilege and honor to now introduce a good friend of mine, Senator John Udicek from the 14th District. Thank you. Thank you very much. If you would indulge me for a point of personal privilege to go off my remarks for a moment. As I sit in the heart of a union family tonight, a union family that is the building trades of northeastern Pennsylvania, I can't help but think about my upbringing in a union blue-collar family. My mother, God rest her soul, Ask Me member, Whitehaven. As was mentioned, we're losing 400 of those Ask Me jobs. Just down the road, SEI Retreat, another 400 union jobs being ripped out of Luzerne County. It's a big reason that I'm here tonight. I think it's another reason why one of your brothers, a United Mine Worker, who happens to be my father, is standing shoulder to shoulder with you tonight, Joe Udicek. Those union values, those blue-collar values, are not a political slogan. They run in the veins of every man and woman in this building tonight that go to work every day and earn a wage. So first and foremost, thank you to our friends in organized labor, especially our friends in the Northeast Building Trades, led by Warren Faust and Tony Siwa. No one has fought harder to create good trade jobs, trade union jobs here in northeastern Pennsylvania, and no one has fought harder to get House Bill 1100, the energy and fertilizer tax credit bill, passed and signed into law by Governor Wolf than Warren and Tony and the united
unwavering members of the Northeast Building Trades who stand tall tonight in Luzerne County, in Harrisburg, anytime we call the Northeastern Pennsylvania Building Trades. Their voice is the loudest, and their voice on House Bill 1100 says one thing: we're for jobs in Northeastern Pennsylvania. We're for jobs. I want to thank our business partners, Penn's Northeast, Pennsylvania Manufacturers Association, and listen, the Greater Philadelphia Chamber of Commerce, the Greater Pittsburgh Chamber of Commerce, the Marcellus Shale Coalition, the Pennsylvania Chemical Council, and countless, countless regional chambers of commerce in Northeastern Pennsylvania who are also united in their support of House Bill 1100. Over my last 2 decades in public life, I have seen few, if any, pieces of legislation that brought together organized labor and the business community like the coalition that has rallied around House Bill 1100. Organized labor and business leaders recognize that House Bill 1100 has the potential to be the most significant job creation bill in Pennsylvania since we passed the Shell Cracker tax credit that created 6,500 jobs and attracted $6 billion in private investment in Western PA. And rarely in this day and age have I ever seen so much bipartisan support in Harrisburg for a bill that Republicans, Democrats, and independents recognize as a game changer for Pennsylvania, a game changer for our economy, a once-in-a-generation chance to change the economic landscape and create construction trade jobs and manufacturing jobs on a scale that is unprecedented in Pennsylvania. The fight for House Bill 1100, strip it all away and it comes down to 3 words: we're for jobs. There's one other gentleman I would like to thank tonight, and that's Michelle Goldschneider, the CEO of Ellis Energy, who I had the pleasure to speak with for about an hour. He married a bride from Hazleton, so the guy's got to be a pretty damn smart guy. And he's looking to invest $500 million in Northeastern Pennsylvania, and he's looking to create 800 building trade jobs in Northeastern Pennsylvania. I'm going to listen to that guy. He's got a good idea. He says, you put House Bill 1100 on the table and sign that into law, those jobs, that investment is coming to Northeastern Pennsylvania. That investment is coming. Ellis Energy is very clear. If the governor vetoes House Bill 1100, Ellis Energy will take its capital and those 800 construction trade jobs to West Virginia, Ohio, or Louisiana, where states have already put incentives. West Virginia just passed 2 bills, and the governor's eager to sign it, to attract Ellis Energy and other petrochemical companies to their states. We're going to lose those jobs. I'm tired of losing jobs. I'm tired of losing union jobs in Northeastern Pennsylvania. Northeastern Pennsylvania has got a shot at 800 trade jobs and hundreds of manufacturing jobs, and we're supposed to give up without a fight and let House Bill 1100 that passed in the House and the Senate with overwhelming majorities. Hell no. We're for jobs. Organized labor. Don't kid yourself, Tony. Thank you for the credit. But organized labor fought like hell to get the prevailing wage language in House Bill 1100. Legislation that guarantees, for the first time in Pennsylvania history, that prevailing wage rates must be paid by companies that build and maintain. Build and maintain. These aren't build and go home. These are build and maintain manufacturing plants in Pennsylvania using the energy and manufacturing tax credit. And understand, that $450 million, that's private investment. That's the first time in the history of Pennsylvania on a private investment, construction of a manufacturing plant, these union trade workers are going to get what they earned. They are going to get prevailing wage. We had a rally in Harrisburg yesterday, and it coincided with a rally of those who oppose House Bill 1100. Mostly radical environmentalists, mostly folks on the radical left. One of those radicals decided that even though the 150 building trades members that watch their rally in a respectful manner, let them have their viewpoint, let them have their say as it is the American way. When the building trades of Pennsylvania got to the microphone to say their piece on 1100, one of those radicals shouted out, "Your jobs don't matter." To hell they don't. Your union trade jobs matter. And why do they matter? You build the middle class. You didn't build it. You're still building it. And you're still building the infrastructure of the American economy. They matter because working class, blue-collar families matter. Politicians have a choice in House Bill 1100. Union trade jobs and union families, they matter or they don't. As Wall Street stumbles and the oil and gas prices crash, we are staring down the barrel of a possible global recession. And you know who feels the pain of that recession first and longer than anyone else in Pennsylvania? The blue-collar families that I believe matter in northeastern Pennsylvania. Last August, I met with the governor. He told me that the state was going to close SCI Retreat and Whitehaven Center, costing Luzerne County 800 good-paying union jobs. I told him we were going to fight for those public sector jobs until the end. But when the end came, I wanted him to help Luzerne County reinvest in our economy, reinvest in private sector jobs, and I placed House Bill 1100 on his desk in August and said, "Governor, help us with this bill." And the governor said he wants to help northeastern Pennsylvania, and I take him at his word that he does. Governor Wolf is an honorable man, and he's a smart man. Governor, it's time to stand with the 130,000 members of the Pennsylvania building trades and help blue-collar families in Luzerne County. It's time to sign House Bill 1100 into law and tell manufacturing companies like Ellis Energy, Pennsylvania is for jobs. What are we here for? We're here for jobs. That concludes our press conference. The members of the General Assembly, the members of the building trades, community members that are here, they're happy to answer any of the questions from the press on an individual basis. Again, I want to thank my Republican and Democratic colleagues that came as far as Washington County, Monroe County, and as close as Wilkes-Barre for being here for the union families of northeastern Pennsylvania. Thank you.